Chapter 1. The lie we're sold in our 20s. Your 20s are supposed to be the best years of your life, right? That's what they tell you. You're supposed to party. You're supposed to experiment. You're supposed to find yourself, well, no, whatever the hell that means. You're told there's no rush, no pressure, no consequences, so you chase distractions. You jump job to job. You date people you don't respect. You spend money you don't have on things that don't matter to impress people you don't even like. And somewhere in the back of your mind, you believe you have time. Plenty of it. But here's the truth most men figure out far too late. You are building the rest of your life right now, whether you're intentional about it or not. Your habits, your mindset, your environment, they are shaping the man you become. Your 20s are not a free trial. They are the foundation. And most men waste it, not because they're lazy, but because they've been lied to about what matters. They're told that happiness is the goal, and that happiness comes from indulgence. But that lie leads to chaos. Because here's the Stoic truth. What feels good now often destroys you later. What's difficult now is usually what saves you. Stoicism doesn't ask, what feels good today? It asks, what kind of man do you want to be 10 years from now? And are you building him or avoiding him? Now, time to reflect. What are you doing right now that you already know won't matter in 5 years? Are you building a future or escaping the present? Let's keep going. Chapter 2. The Silent Killers. Comfort, distraction, and comparison. Most men don't destroy their 20s in a dramatic crash. They don't hit rock bottom. They don't fail spectacularly. They simply drift. One video at a time. One "I'll start Monday" at a time. One mindless scroll. One meaningless hookup. One night out too many. Until years pass, and they wake up lost, bitter, and empty. And they don't even know how it happened. Because it didn't feel like destruction. It felt like comfort. That's the first killer, comfort. Comfort lulls you into thinking you're safe. But in reality, it slowly strips you of urgency, hunger, and ambition. You get used to average, used to coping, used to saying, at least I'm not like that guy. The Stoics didn't avoid comfort because they were masochists. They avoided it because they knew it made them weak. Seneca would sleep on the floor to remind himself not to fear discomfort. Epictetus, born a slave, taught that the less you need, the more powerful you become. Modern men? They crumble when the Wi-Fi goes out. The second killer is distraction. You're more connected than any generation before you, and more scattered. Your thoughts aren't your own. They're shaped by algorithms. Your goals aren't chosen. They're suggested by strangers you'll never meet. You start chasing lifestyles you don't even truly want, and wonder why nothing feels fulfilling. Distraction steals not just your focus, but your identity. The Stoics practiced deep focus. They wrote in journals, they asked hard questions, they carved their lives around what they could control, and let go of the rest. What are you building when your mind is divided in 50 directions? Nothing. And then comes the third killer. Comparison. You're told not to compare. But how can you not? Every scroll shows someone with more money, more status, more women, more freedom, and it crushes you. So you react, not from your values, but from insecurity. You start living a life that's not even yours. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. Seneca. You imagine you're behind. You imagine you're not good enough. You imagine everyone else has it figured out, but here's the truth. Everyone is lost. Everyone is struggling. Everyone is faking parts of their life. The Stoic man doesn't compare because he measures himself against who he was yesterday. That's it. Ask yourself this. Are you addicted to comfort that's weakening you? Are you distracted from your own goals by someone else's? Who would you be if you stopped comparing and started building? Chapter 3. The Modern Stoic Blueprint. What to actually build in your 20s. So now we ask, if comfort, distraction, and comparison are destroying your 20s, what should you be building instead? Let's be clear. Stoicism doesn't tell you to suffer for the sake of suffering. It tells you to suffer for something meaningful. Your 20s aren't about perfection. They're about construction. You are building the man you'll rely on for the rest of your life. And there are 4 foundations every Stoic man must build, especially in his 20s. Number 1, discipline over motivation. Motivation is a mood. discipline is a decision. If you only act when you feel like it, you will lose to the man who acts regardless. Your 20s are the time to train yourself to show up when you're tired, when you're uninspired, when no one is watching, when you're not seeing results. First, say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Epictetus. That's Stoic discipline. You don't act because you're inspired. You act because it's who you are. Number 2, mental fortitude. Life will break you if you're soft. Not physically, mentally. Rejection, failure, betrayal, being underestimated, it will all come. So the question is not if you'll face adversity. The question is, will you be ready for it? A Stoic doesn't just prepare for storms, he expects them. He doesn't panic. He doesn't play victim. He adapts. You build this by doing hard things on purpose. Cold showers, challenging workouts, difficult conversations, time alone with your own thoughts, because resilience isn't given, it's trained. 3, financial autonomy. Number 1, Stoicism isn't about chasing wealth, it's about owning your freedom. In your 20s, money gives you time, money gives you margin, money gives you options. When you're broke, you can't be stoic. You're reactive, dependent, desperate. You don't need to be rich. You need to be self-sufficient. Seneca was one of the wealthiest men in Rome, but he trained himself to live with nothing. That's the power, to choose restraint, not be forced into it. And the final one is philosophical clarity. Most men drift through their 20s. They try on different identities, beliefs, lifestyles, without ever asking, what do I stand for? A Stoic man defines his values early. What do you believe in? What will you not tolerate? What kind of energy do you bring into every room? When you know your principles, you stop chasing people, because you're not looking to fit in. You're looking to lead yourself. Time to reflect. What pain am I avoiding that I should be embracing? Am I reactive or resilient? What does the highest version of me do daily? And am I doing it? Chapter 4, The Time Trap. Why you have time is the worst lie you'll hear in your 20s. You've got time. It sounds comforting, doesn't it? You're only 22, you're only 25, you're still young, that's what they say on do, and they mean well. But here's what they don't tell you. You don't have as much time as you think. You just have no idea how fast it's moving. Most men treat their 20s like a warm-up round, like they can coast. Waste years. Try again later. But here's the brutal truth. Every day you waste in your 20s is twice as expensive as in your 30s. Because your time now is worth more than you realize. It's not just about years. It's about compound effect. Every habit you build now strengthens or haunts you for decades. Every relationship you invest in shapes your worldview. Every dollar you spend or save creates momentum or debt. Every hour you scroll is one less hour building the man you could become. It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. Seneca. You can recover from a bad day. You can't recover from a decade of passivity. Look, you're going to age either way. The only question is, will you be proud of how you used your time, or will you have to explain why you didn't? Time doesn't wait. Time doesn't ask. Time doesn't forgive. The Stoics treated time like gold. They tracked it, guarded it, used it with intention. They understood that urgency is not stress, it's clarity. You don't need to rush everything, but you do need to respect the clock. Because while everyone else is wasting time chasing pleasure and pretending not to care, the Stoic man quietly becomes the most powerful man in the room. Because he didn't waste what he couldn't get back. Ask yourself these questions and reflect on your responses. If I keep living like this for the next 5 years, who do I become? What would I do differently if I truly respected my time? What is one habit I can kill today and one I can start? Chapter 5. How to stand out without trying. The rare traits of Stoic men in a loud world. In a world where everyone is shouting, silence stands out. Where everyone is performing, stillness cuts through. Where most men are trying desperately to impress. The man who doesn't chase becomes magnetic. This is the paradox of Stoicism. The less you seek validation, the more power you radiate. The modern world rewards spectacle, but respects substance. Most men don't understand that. They're busy shouting over each other, flexing online, fishing for likes. They're in a competition to be seen, while the Stoic man quietly becomes someone worth seeing. Because in a room full of noise, confidence whispers. Here are the 5 rare traits that make Stoic men stand out, without trying to. 1. Self-containment. A Stoic man doesn't need to prove anything. He carries his value inwardly. He doesn't overshare. He doesn't broadcast pain for sympathy. He doesn't seek applause. Why? Because he knows who he is, and doesn't outsource that to the crowd. Be like the cliff against which the waves continually break, but it stands firm and tames the fury of the water around it. Marcus Aurelius 2. Emotional clarity. Most men are ruled by emotion. They confuse reaction with strength. They explode, withdraw, sulk, rage, and call it passion. The Stoic man feels deeply, but chooses how and when to express it. That's not repression. That's restraint. He understands his emotions. He studies them. He doesn't fear them, but he refuses to be ruled by them. 3. Stillness. In conversations, arguments, interviews, dating, stillness is dominance. Fidgeting, nervous, over-explaining, insecure, rushing to fill silence, weak. Stillness shows presence. It shows control. It shows that you don't need to win the moment, because you already won the internal war. 4. Value-driven living. Most men follow trends. A Stoic man follows principles. He doesn't do things because they're popular. He does them because they're aligned with what he believes. That's why Stoic men stand out. They live with conviction, not convenience. They're rare because they're rooted. 5. Quiet certainty. Confidence is not volume. Confidence is clarity. A Stoic man doesn't dominate the room. He just never shrinks from it. And that's what people remember. You want to be respected. Don't perform. Don't chase. Just be. Reflection. Questions. Where in your life are you still chasing attention? What would it look like to lead with presence, not performance? Are your actions aligned with your principles, or with people-pleasing? Chapter 6. Final reflection. Build the man now, or apologize for him later. If you're in your 20s right now, you're standing in the most powerful decade of your life. Not because it's easy, not because it's fun, not because you're supposed to find yourself, but because what you do now, you'll either live off of or pay for forever. Your habits are taking shape. Your thoughts are becoming beliefs. Your values are forming, whether you realize it or not. And the question is, are you building the man you'll be proud of, or the one you'll have to explain? Most men waste their 20s trying to feel good. They chase women, they chase approval, they chase distraction, they chase anything but themselves. But you don't have to be like most men. You can choose discomfort, you can choose structure, you can choose presence. And one day you'll look in the mirror and see a man that your past self would admire, not envy. The Stoics didn't leave us motivational quotes. They left us a code. Know what you can control. Master your emotions. Build yourself through effort, not excuses. Don't fear hardship. Use it. Don't chase approval. Become someone who doesn't need it. Don't drift. Direct. Your 20s are a test, not a party, not a practice round. A test of what you're made of and what you're willing to become. So here's the final truth. You can scroll through your 20s, or you can sculpt your 30s, 40s, and 50s. Starting right now. Final reflection. Questions. What kind of man do you want to be at 30? What is he grateful you did today? What would it take to start becoming him? Not someday, but now. Because in the end, you'll become someone either way. You might as well make it a man you respect.